Welcome to the Veterans in Politics Talk Show. Join us every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific Time, live stream on Facebook.
Welcome to the Joint Veterans Endorsement Interviews for Non-Judicial Candidates. On the outset, we'd like to formally recognize and thank our sponsoring organizations for making today's event possible. Mary Perry, Clark County District Court, Family Division, Department P. Christine Brewer, Clark County District Court Judge, Family Division, Department S. Chris Cannon, North Las Vegas Municipal Court, Department 1, Veterans in Politics International, and Nevada Veterans Association. Also like to extend our sincere appreciation to our additional sponsors and community partners whose support helps ensure a professional, fair, and transparent endorsement process. We're honored to have you all with us today. Before we begin the interviews, I'd like to just go over the rules and the format. First, we'll have each panel member introduce themselves, and they'll include which organization they're representing today. Then that will be followed by a round for each candidate will introduce yourself. And please include the office you're running for and explain why you are seeking that position. Please limit your time because we have a lot of candidates. Once we're done with that, we will segue into the interview portion. Please remember this is an interview, not a debate. So please address only the panel members, not each other, with your answers. In the interest of fairness to all participants, time limits will be strictly enforced. Each candidate will have 1 minute and 30 seconds to answer each question. When you have 30 seconds remaining, you will be shown a yellow card. When time has expired, you will be shown a blue card. You may finish your sentence, but you will need to conclude at that point. And again, please be respectful of the time. We don't want to cut the mic if you have to. And then afterwards, you'll be given an opportunity to give a 1 minute closing statement. With that, I will start on the end with the introductions. You first.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Just your name and what organization you're representing on your show.
Okay, I'm Cindy Lake with Veterans in Politics International. Nice to meet you guys.
My name is John Brookhagen, and while I'm not a veteran, I'm honored to contribute and represent Veterans in Politics International.
Bill Carnes, I'm here representing Nevada Veterans Association.
Sue Christensen, Veterans in Politics.
Gary White, Moffett Point Marine Association, representing Veterans in Politics.
Martin Walker, Nevada Veterans Association. And I will start the introductions with you.
Well, my name is Donald J. Beaudry, Jr. I live here in Las Vegas at Trump Tower, and I'm running for governor of the state of Nevada. I have one main thing to offer the people of Nevada as governor: money. I have a very detailed plan to eliminate in Nevada all across the board, all state taxes and fees, and replace that loss of revenue with NGEX, the Nevada Global Exchange, a kind of Wall Street stock market, but broader, more advanced, and exponentially more profitable. The knock-on effects of doing that would be a cataclysmic tsunami of wealth that would wash over this state. Every single man, woman, and child.
Introductions are going to be about 30 seconds, and then you'll all have plenty of time to represent your platform. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Alexis Hill. I'm a county commissioner in Washoe County. I have devoted my whole life to public service, and I'm running for governor because our state deserves someone who wants to bring change to this state. I am running to invest in Nevadans because we deserve it, and we are 48th or 50th on most lists, and we deserve a governor who wants to invest in us, especially during this very difficult time. So thank you for having me.
My name is Matthew Winterhawk, and I'm running for governor because it is time that the people remember exactly whom they work for. Whether you're an elected official or an appointed official, it seems like grossly at 42 years of my life, everyone has forgotten exactly who they work for, who they represent. I'm going to be here to represent that exactly for the book, by the book of the Constitution, 17 counties deep for this state. That's exactly what I'm here to do. I will deliver on that promise.
Hi, my name is Jose Zelaya. I've been here 25 years. My background's in construction. I'm a family man. I've seen this place grow inside and out, and I believe that we're ready for change. If we keep electing the people that we're electing, there's not going to be any more change. So I'm here to fight for the people, to get our voices heard and find solutions for our voices.
My name is Barak Zilberberg. It's a pleasure, honored to be here on the table with all of you. And even more so of my run, I commemorate all of your running of what you do. It's very commemorable. Your time and everything goes around with the run, because I know what running is. Yeah, and thank you very much. Let's get a round of applause for everybody here. Really. All the veterans, too, and all the people that are in the forefronts and the frontliners that are protecting us and our nation. I am Barak Zilberberg, running for governor of Nevada. God bless America and Nevada. Thank you. Battle-born Nevada.
All right, so we'll begin the interview portion. Again, I'd like to remind everyone that there's a time limit. When you see the blue card, it's time to wrap up. Please do not continue to go on for more sentences. Just it's an indication you can finish your sentence at that point, but don't continue to go on. With that, we'll start with you on the end. Okay.
Again, Cindy Lake with Veterans in Politics International. Welcome. My first easy question to everybody, starting with Ms. Hill, is what qualifies you to run an entire state? Thank you.
Currently, I am a county commissioner. I'm running the second largest county in northern Nevada, and I'm seeing the real issues on the ground. I am working with a 5-person board. 3 members are Republicans, 2 are Democrats. I'm one of the Democrats, and we are getting things done for our community, but I'm incredibly disappointed on the lack of progress that is happening on the state level, with the legislature only meeting every 2 years for 120 days. They're really not getting the work of the people done. And growing up here, I feel like Nevadans deserve better. And I have been working in local government my entire career and serving this state. I have a master's in public administration and public policy from UNR, and I love this place. And I think that Nevadans deserve a governor who's going to dig in and address the big issues that are happening on our state every day. And that is what I want to do as Nevada's next governor.
Mr. Winterhawk.
I believe that I have it for ownership and accountability. That's something that's missing. And as a father and as someone out there inside of society that works every day, whether it's 5, 6, 7 days a week, you are responsible for an outcome. You do not get to just simply say, I did the best I could. That doesn't earn you a paycheck in the real world, and it shouldn't earn you a paycheck as an executive. Once again, I'm stating that I'm here to run it because I know the job inside and out. I know how it needs to be executed. I'm not looking to step over anywhere, and I want to make sure that we are delivering effectively and faithfully for all 17 counties.
I'm not a career politician, but I've been here as a business owner, owned 7 different businesses. God doesn't choose the qualified. He chooses the available, the willing, and that's what I am. I'm the vice president of the National Hispanic Construction Alliance. I've been involved in board members, the National Associate Hispanic Real Estate Producers. I've been a president of a motorcycle club. I know what it takes to run a business and a successful business. And that's what this is here, a business. Our country's a business. And that's what I know. And I know with integrity and truth, you can run something very successful. And that's what we need. We need to stop this corruption that's going on, all these lies. So that's why I'm running. I'm a family man. I want my kids to be able to succeed. Veterans are dear to my heart. We need to put them first. Shame on us for having homeless veterans out here. And that's why I'm running.
Mr. Zilberberg.
I'm running because I love the country. I'm blessed to be born in this privileged country, and the opportunities that we have in this country, and all the people in the forefronts that are defending our country, our militants, and the frontliners out there that are protecting, us as citizens, the United States citizens. So I just want to give back. I'm just so fortunate. I would like to even donate everything I have to this nation because I love this nation wholeheartedly. I want to serve it with all my heart and all my soul, and I want to make sure that everybody's heard and everybody has a voice and a direction and a meaning and a purpose in life. And that's why I'm running for governor and U.S. President 2028. Thank you so very much, all of you.
I am a financial markets engineer and hedge fund manager. I have multiple decades of experience in this field. I know exactly what makes an economy move upwards, and more importantly, what makes it go nowhere. Like this flat economy that we have here in Nevada that at best is stagnant. As governor of Nevada, I would want to implement an idea I've been working on for over 2 years now. That's NGEX, the Nevada Global Exchange. It's a kind of Wall Street stock market, but far broader, more advanced, and exponentially more profitable. The knock-on effects of doing this here in Nevada would be a cataclysmic tsunami of wealth that would wash over this state, that every single man, woman, and child throughout Nevada would directly financially benefit from. And many, many of the people here in Nevada will become very, very rich. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everybody. And just to be clear, we're going to take turns going first. And then after the person next to you is completed, you could feel free to begin your answer as well. Governor Lombardo and Attorney General Ford aren't with us here today, and they're widely viewed as the front runners in this race. The governor is pretty much the pinnacle of Nevada politics. And Ms. Hill, I know you're with the county commission, but all of you, whether you could run for treasurer, Mr. Beaudry, or Alexis, you could mention the legislature. Mr. Winterhawk, I know you got experience in education. You could work with the Chamber of Commerce. And Barak, I know you ran for president last time, but if you had run for a lower office the first time I met you, by now you would have a lot more political experience. So why is it that you guys are running for governor right now instead of pursuing a lower office first? And what specifically qualifies you to make that jump from little or no political experience to becoming the top person in our political system? Mr. Winterhawk.
I get this question all the time, and I love it because it means that you're thinking about who is running inside of your government. The problem is that for my 42 years, we've been making those choices, and it was the person who started as an assembly member. Then they went to a commissioner. Then they slid over, as I'd like to say, a moniker slider. The names have changed. I've been through the legislature, and those same names are in every picture all the way through that building from different position to different position. The one thing that is consistent is their failure to remember exactly why they're there is to serve. Service before self. That is exactly how I will lead, and I am there to execute within that, not to overstep anybody else. So we spoke of the AG and that those are all positions that we facilitate within. I'm here to coordinate within, and I'm great at running teams.
For decades, we've been, hearing all these fancy words, people qualified, and what has been done for us? Absolutely nothing. I think we're going backwards. Everything that we've been told that's going to happen has been a lie. Where's the money? We need somebody that's going to be outspoken, be out there in your face, and is willing to negotiate the things that we need to do, lowering things for our people. Taxes are through the roof. The Inflation, it's through the roof. How can we live like this? We cannot. Why I didn't take a lower position? I was asked to run, and I was willing to do it because this is what our state needs. Our state's such a rich state. How are we not showing that on paper? That's why I'm running.
Thank you very much. Mr. Zilberberg.
So please reiterate the question for me again.
You specifically, you ran for governor 4 years ago. You ran for president of the United States 2 years ago. And if you had run for a lower office and won, you'd have a lot more experience in the politics of Nevada. Why are you running for the top office of Nevada as opposed to trying to get your feet wet and trying to serve the people of Nevada in a lower office in order to get your toe in the water?
I appreciate the question. Thank you so very much, Johnny Brew. I have much respect for you. You know, you're an incredible person. First and foremost, I'm a self-made entrepreneur. I started with nothing, grassroots, with a credit card, $3,000, with ambition and passion and dreams. And I made sure that I had goals. I'm basically an author of a book as well called Resilience. And I think all of you should, have it actually with Stephanie. I'll sign them off to you, all of you. Just give you a little bit of who I am as a blueprint and how I've delegated my life and all my ventures in my life using the opportunities that this nation has, and tax codes and everything that is integrated into this country, which is so beautiful. And the veterans have more opportunities because they could actually get into homes at, 2 or 3% interest rate, whereas we're paying, in the private sector, 7-8%. So I advise everybody in the military to go in and get their homes out there for 3% and with very little down payment. I admire those who are in the military, and I wish you all the best. God bless.
Thank you very much.
I think people forget in this country that being in political office means being a public servant. And a position like governor, the most serious position in a state, is an incredibly serious and professional job. You need to have something that you're bringing to the table that will directly benefit the people of Nevada in terms of safety, security, and wealth creation. I believe I am uniquely qualified for this position because I have been in the financial markets for multiple decades, and I know exactly how to generate wealth in this state that this state has never seen prior.
Thank you very much.
Well, very few governors have had statewide experience in the history of Nevada. And I think that being a local elected official actually gives you a very good sense of what is happening on the ground in your community. I've worked at the city of Sparks. I worked at the city of Reno. I have a degree in political science and public administration. I know how government works, and I am seeing the problems on the state level and the refusal of anyone to really address it. So I think it's time for change. And I think that my experience is actually perfect for this moment because I'm not bought off by large corporations or folks who want to keep things the same. I'm a grassroots candidate who's talking to voters on the ground, and voters are angry and they want change. So having a candidate who comes from local government is actually perfect experience for what we need right now in Nevada.
Thank you. Bill Carnes, Nevada Veterans Association. I'm going to ask a number of questions which are a little bit more foundationally based as opposed to where you might be politically based. So here's a very foundational one. The federal Constitution defines the executive branch and establishes it under Article 2. Nevada's Constitution also defines the executive branch, of which the governor runs it. That is Article 5. In Article 5, it lists about, I think it's 9 or 10 different duties that are the primary duties of the governor of Nevada, as outlined by the Constitution. I'd like you to name as many of those as you can. What what are the foundational duties of the governor of Nevada?
Wow, thanks for putting me on the spot, Bill. Thanks.
You just happen to be next in line.
Absolutely. As governor, I know that, he is to ensure that laws are placed. He's ensured that he vetoes laws that are not to be in place, that are going to hurt us. Small business, he's he handles small business. He handles you got me on the spot here on this one. I absolutely. I know this, and I've studied this, and I'm just drawing a blank here now. But I definitely know the duties. When it comes to something new, it's a new language for me, and I'm prepared to learn it, to dive in, and I work well, hands on. And so when I'm in there, you bet I'd be in there, working. Nobody has the work ethic more than I do.
Well, being the CEO of Nevada, which is the governor's seat, I'm going to use it as a broker seat. So make as many deals as I can, because I want to flourish the economy here. I'd like to open up the federal lands with the president of the United States, and I'm not even negotiating with him. I'm bringing the paper over, the agreement, and everything signed over here. We're bringing our land back, 85% of our land back to Nevada. That's number one. Number two is we're going to go ahead and delegate infrastructure, stuff that nobody has ever believed here in Nevada. We're going to go ahead and bring manufacturing made in USA, where something means something. Yes.
Just you're campaigning, and the question which I'm going to try to draw you back to are, in the Nevada Constitution, what are the duties assigned by the governor that they must do?
Well, first off, as governor, you also are in charge of National Guard here in Nevada. So you are an executive and chief officer here. So that takes a lot of responsibility. Then we have over 4 million people here that reside here. And even there'll be more than 4 million, probably 30 or 40 million in the end of the day when I'm done here. We're going to bring prosperity, growth. We're going to bring wealth here like no other state in the union, for sure. Mining, lithium. We have so many things here. It's just incredible what this state has to offer. Thank you. God bless you.
Well, just you where the microphone's quite a bit for the people who are viewing.
Not for us.
Okay.
It's for the broadcast.
Thank you. Well, the question is, what are the 10 main points?
There are many, but there's like a top 8, 9, 10.
Okay. Well, no, I cannot name them. I do not know. And I don't think anybody here does either, even if they don't admit it. But I think the two most important things a governor of a state should be doing in their communities is, number one, providing safety and security for the people that reside there. And number two, providing an economy that allows all the people in their state to potentially grow financially. We do not have that at this time here in Nevada, not on any level. And our current incumbent, Joe Biden, absolutely he's utterly visionless, a visionless zero. And this is not something that will ever grow this state. I did, yeah. I don't know the difference. Later, if you can tell me the difference, please tell me. I really do not know the difference. Joe Lombardo or Joe Biden, all these Joes, I really do not know what they have to offer.
Alexis.
Thank you. It's the governor's job to bring a balanced budget to the legislature. It is the governor's job to sign in laws or veto laws. It is the governor's job to appoint the cabinet, and the governor is the executive of Nevada, so they appoint their cabinet and manage the essential departments in the state. It is the governor's job to be the commander-in-chief of the National Guard. It is the governor's job to lead the state.
You went with the specifics, but I love Section 9, to faithfully execute the law. That is the entire job. I mean, there are many. Yeah, you got to have a budget. Yeah, you got to be ready February 1st for session. There's a lot of things that go on inside of there, but the most critical is to make sure that you are faithfully executing for all 17 counties as it is written.
As the asker of the question, I just want to say, pretty well done. Please read Article 5 of the Constitution, because that's what your job's going to be. It's Article 5. You actually quoted Section 7. Pretty good, though. Yeah, it's all good. No, well done. You read something.
Sue Christensen, Veterans in Politics International. We're going to start with Barak. What specific problem in Nevada do you believe is being ignored right now?
I believe affordability is a huge issue here in Nevada. And what I'd like to do is open the federal lands so that we can initiate, affordable housing in communities so people and Nevadans particularly could go ahead affordably into homes. And that's what my initiatives are. Getting the veterans out there in the streets and homeless. They shouldn't, be homeless. We're going to go ahead and shelter them and infiltrate them in the homes because they have served the country. And wholeheartedly, all the people from the streets will be infiltrated and back into the military and jobs. And everything that we're going to implement here in Nevada. We're going to overhaul the educational system here too. So that's wholeheartedly. We're going to implement vocational careers, not only vocational, but trades, all kinds of stuff. We're going to be number one in education when I'm done here with the state for sure. I mean, we're not going to be at the bottom of the barrel no more. Thank you very much. Thank you for the question.
Yes, the question, I'm sorry. Sorry, can you please repeat the question, Sil?
What specific problem in Nevada do you believe is being ignored right now?
Number one, safety and security in our communities. I've been married almost 21 years, and I would be uncomfortable with my wife even walking around the mall here in Nevada, any mall. That is no way anyone in this country, the richest country in the world, should be living. We have nobody at the helm regarding safety and security. That's really, to me, paramount. And second is the economy. Our current visionless governor, Biden, is utterly useless. He has no vision. He's just walking around. Pardon me? Please stop. Lombardo. Pardon me. My mistake. My mistake. Okay. Those are the two main points that I would bring to Nevada. If I am governor, there would be a new sheriff in town. I would take that extremely seriously, that role. I would want to have constant communication with the police in this state, and we will end violent crime in this state. I know exactly how it should be done. And regarding the economy, NGEX, the Nevada Global Exchange, that is the next turn in this state that will break out and create real wealth for all people here in Nevada. Thank you.
We don't have enough money to pay for things in this state. And our state can still be an extremely low tax state. I do not want to change that. I don't want to enact an income tax, but we have got to look at ways that we can pay for essential services. People are suffering in this state, especially our veterans, and we do not have ways to help them. As you heard before, our education system, we're 48th in per pupil spending. We are in a childcare desert, so working families are having a hard time paying for or finding childcare. And our governor can make our lives more affordable. No, we can't affect grocery store prices, but we can make it easier for Nevadans to live in Nevada and buy a house and have prosperity here. We need a governor to create opportunity. And the way that we need to do that is to make sure that people are paying their fair share. We are allowing for major corporations and billionaires to get away with not paying their fair share while the rest of us pay the highest gas taxes, the highest sales taxes, and the highest vehicle registration taxes in the U.S. So thank you.
Transparency and accountability across 17 counties and the law being applied equally across those. Whether you wear a robe, you're in a position of power, not elected, appointed, normal constituent inside the state. I want that law applied evenly. And I believe that it's not. And I believe that we have put a lot of stock into the Strip, which is great for Clark County. Fantastic. But we're not just two in a sports book. There are 15 other counties that get chokehold by the laws that get written. So we need to go look at this individually across the state and make sure that the laws are applicable in all 17 counties. Because what works in Elko does not work in Nye. What works in Eureka does not work in Clark. What works in Lander does not work in Douglas. And this is what needs to be said and what needs to be done. Thank you.
Bill, I actually know this one. So what we have so many issues where to start. Education, our safety, our healthcare, our homelessness, the chemtrails that are being done, the 5G towers that are being put up there. There's so many things that we need to fix. And I believe that we do have the money. It's just being spent elsewhere or carelessly. The $909 billion that came from the dispensaries, the money that was given to the education system, and where is that? So there's so many questions that we need to go in there and audit and take care of to be able to fix all these things. Too many issues, and that has to stop. Somebody needs to go out there, negotiate them, tackle them on hands on, and actually find a solution for these problems. Don't sweep it under the rug.
Gary White. All right, we're going to fast forward in time. You're all governor. Let's be honest. There are two city-states in this state. Reno and Las Vegas. Everything else, a little small communities, suburbs, hamlets, and wasteland in between. A lot of the major populations have been polarized because there is a lack of mobility, i.e., public transportation. Veterans have no access to the Veterans Hospital in northern Nevada, middle of nowhere. What would you do to give greater access to not only the VA, but to the job seekers who have no access to employers or job sites? Las Vegas, in particular, needs a public transportation system very badly. We want to be a world-class city. Okay, right now we're a world-class town. There is no transportation. What are your thoughts on light rail in the valley? Not only does that give you greater access to jobs, it creates jobs, that rising tide raises all ships. Now, yeah, we know that money is a little funny. And what we'll end up doing, how do we raise it? What would you do? Let's start with you, Barak, and work your way down.
He's the last one.
Oh, last one?
It's his turn.
Okay.
Gary?
Yes.
Gary White. In response to your question, I would say
I have a unique understanding to what you're talking about. Completely agree. Nevada is a world-class town, not a world-class city. It should be, it could be, it absolutely would be if I'm governor. I've traveled extensively in over 120 countries, and I've lived in multiple locations all over the world. I've seen what we should have here in Nevada, what we should have here in Las Vegas in terms of light rail or an underground or an overground. Absolutely, without question, our infrastructure here is utterly pathetic. We need investments across the board in this state. We need to energize the state, and it's never going to be done relying strictly on casinos that go up and down based on the economy. My plan is literally recession-proof because with Nevada Global Exchange, we would generate revenue on buying and selling and listing fees of companies here in the United States, here in Nevada, and all over the world. That revenue would be constant, consistent, and that is really the most prudent, most responsible course of action for this state. And regarding rural communities, regarding that, one of the things that I would do with NGEX is make every single man, woman, and child throughout the state a shareholder in the dividends that exchange would get. So after we pay our state budget, start to reduce our enormous debts in the state, we would make every single citizen a shareholder. Thank you. Thank you.
I am supportive of light rail. We have to pay for it. And the reason that we are in this boring company debacle is because Elon Musk came to our state and said, I'll give you something for free, which sadly they've violated major environmental and public safety issues. And that's what you get when you accept free things. We have got to make sure that we are investing in public transportation and our roads. Our roads are the most unsafe roads in the country in Nevada. And so I would prioritize light rail. I've heard from residents as I've been doing this tour of Nevada who want to see that. And it takes leadership. If you talk to Denver, who has light rail, or even Texas, it took the governor pulling together our diverse local communities and governments to get this done. And that would absolutely be a priority and something that is needed.
With most funding, I would probably look right to Nevada revised statutes and where they've created boards, advisories, and committees across. There's more than 316 of them. And as governor, I would be going through each and every one of them. If it does not make sense on paper and it does not provide an outcome, it's cut. Therefore, that money is alleviated back into the general budget. And then working with the city council of some place like Reno, right? Or working with the city council in Las Vegas specifically to make sure that they're looking at those funding options and to see how exactly, whether through grants or through the budgeting or various purpose bonds, they were able to facilitate and actually bring that to life. It's nothing that's going to be a light switch flip. So there's no magic wand in this, but definitely to facilitate and have those conversations moving forward and to have it right there at the front stage so that you know exactly what you're looking at and the reality of whether or not that's feasible for this city. Or Reno as well.
As governor, I don't have to know everything, but I have to know the right person to call. And when it comes to light rails, if that's dear to your heart, Gary, then that's something that I would like you to hold me accountable and remind me that we had this conversation and how's it going with the light rail. I honestly think that that's a great thing that this city needs. We need it in Reno as well too. They're expanding, very rapidly. Money, we can always find money. There's always people that have money, and we just need to go out there and just talk to the right people that are going to help us put these things, to place. So, there was a question that you had on how are we going to get jobs out there, right? That's exactly it, right? Building a light rail, that's going to create a lot of jobs. Can we do something where we're going to call on more veterans to come in and help? Yeah, absolutely. We just have to reach out to them and let them know that there's options. The VA hospital, I know, has a lot of resources, but a lot of our veterans don't know to access those things. So we need to go out there and educate the workforce to let them know. Only 30% of our people vote. We need to educate them to vote for the primaries.
First off, I like to commemorate your question. That's a very nice question you have. The way I would pursue this is we got to create jobs. In order to create jobs, we have to create infrastructure and anemones where we widen our highways. We go ahead, we bring high-speed railing systems in our state and show example here as a blueprint of our state to other states. We got to get also a high-speed railing system from the Southern California into Las Vegas and Northern California over San Francisco into Reno as well, and bring more prospects, more people, more tourism. Bring the Olympics here. Bring all these basketball, hockey teams. Bring everybody over here. Blow this place up. I've encumbered that 2029 is the Super Bowl here in Las Vegas, which is very commemorable, and may we see many, many events here in Las Vegas and Nevada. God bless. God bless the United States. Thank you.
Real quick in closing, I happen to be a transportation specialist. And there's no reason why we can't have this. All we got to do is have the will and the way. That's all I have.
All right. So across of doing this with a lot of different candidates, one thing I've heard several mention that they and have been very vocal about ending tax abatements and subsidies for large corporations. Proponents argue that business-friendly incentives are necessary to keep Nevada competitive and help diversify Nevada's economy. At the same time, people are seeing how the same types of actions are affecting places like New York, Seattle, Chicago, as businesses move out to Florida, Texas, and Indiana. What alternative economic development tools do you propose to use to attract businesses to Nevada so we can mitigate our reliance on the hospitality sector?
This is an important part of my platform. I am very concerned about all the tax abatements that we give away in Nevada. We give data centers 70% tax abatements. Why are we doing that for a business that doesn't need a subsidy? We need to make sure we look at the Governor's Office of Economic Development and retool those statutory requirements that give away these tax abatements that you and I do not see. There is no transparency there. They happen not at the legislature, but in the everyday of those go-ed meetings. And we need to make sure that we start treating our small businesses like big businesses. I think our small businesses need real support in this state. Talking to small businesses, they are struggling right now. They need support from the state. I'd like to get rid of the personnel tax, which every time a small business hires someone, they pay the state more. Why are we disincentivizing hiring real people? If a small business owns their property that they're on, I'd like to see a 5-year tax abatement of personal property tax so that they can stay stabilized and really support getting 15,000 new jobs on the ground. We have the highest unemployment in the United States, and we can do a lot of this with a homegrown approach.
The tax abatements, they hit locally and they hit hard. So when there's a situation like Trick, or you want to look at the situation with Apex up here, it's where those districts affects inside of those special tax districts that benefits those places. So when I look at the generalization of understanding exactly what they're going to do moving forward with the business and trying to get it to work for the state, we've got GoEd department that goes out and gives a giveaway. We had AB 5, which was AB 238 within the special legislative session. This was a bill that gives a business that comes in and builds Hollywood inside of Nevada, says it provides 16 to 18,000 jobs. It's fantastic at face value. It's fantastic for unions. It's hard when you're a member of society and Nevada who was staunchly against it because you've watched it fail in 5 other states. This is the thing that I watch with them. Nevada is a great state to build a business. You do not need abatements. You do not need anything. You know that you want to be here. The companies that want to be here, they already know and they are here. The abatements that are being given should be given to our critical responders and first responders, which it's not happening. Taxes are not something that you could ever get rid of. It is critically responsible and important for you to have your taxes when you understand that your law inside of your cities are on average about 8.5 cents per $3. That's what they get. And your fire is about 30 cents per $3. So you have to understand that why we lax in our critical service is definitely because we're worried about whether or not we're giving abatements. So if we're going to be giving abatements and we're going to be writing that stuff off, it's going to be for critical services, not for companies moving in.
That's a big topic. We have a broken system, and which is the right way to work at it. I think that's going to come in and really come in together and negotiate a solid plan for it. Should we take from big businesses? I don't know. I don't think so. They're providing jobs for us. Is there a better system that we could do for them or they could do for us? Yes, absolutely. What is that? That's something that we're just going to have to come together and try to figure out. I don't have an answer for that, just yet. But that is key. We need to figure out an answer for that.
Microphone, sir.
There are two questions, correct?
The question is, because we've seen what certain policies in other states of how they're driving businesses out of their states, what economic tools do you see, or economic development tools do you propose that we could use to, outside of abatements, to attract businesses to Nevada?
Absolutely. Well, first off, we got to open up the federal lands. That's number one. Opening up getting our lands back to the state, that's key. Then from there, we could develop the whole state and redefine the whole state. We have our land. 85% is our land here in Nevada. So I'm getting it back. There's no ifs, ands, or maybes. There's no negotiation here. I'm going to go ahead with Donald Trump, the president. I'm going to have an agreement already, and I'm going to have him sign it over in the Oval Office, and we're going to get our lands back. Once that is, it's a game changer here. We're going to go ahead and get infrastructure, all kinds of stuff here. We're going to have probably 40 million people here living in Nevada. And then we're going to have resources, which I'm going to negotiate with California for desalination plants. So we have water, not only in our state, we have all the infrastructure we need to facilitate the population here in Nevada.
I think that we're looking at taxes in completely the wrong way. If we were in this state to eliminate property taxes across the board, sales tax, all business taxes, all state fees and taxes, all of them from A to Z, we would see an economic expansion in this state that would be unprecedented. You talk about how do we get new businesses, new blood, new money in our economy? That's it. You do that, in day one, you would see a surge in new businesses opening up here. You own property, you will see your home prices or your apartment or your land prices just exponentially start to rise. Everything would boom. That is the single best way, only way, in my opinion, that we could generate real wealth in this state overnight, essentially. Through NGEX, the Nevada Global Exchange, we could generate wealth that this state has never seen before. Thank you.
Cindy Lake, Veterans in Politics. Nevada is going the wrong direction with overdose deaths. The country is supposedly experiencing a decline in fentanyl deaths, but yet Nevada is seeing an increase where 1 in every 2,000 residents are dying from fentanyl and opioid overdose. What would you do to reverse that trend and make it go to zero?
There's no way to make that go to zero. Addicts are addicts. The sad thing about the reality is that they are going to seek what they seek. What I can do is make sure that through law and order inside of the state, and I know throughout the tribes who I've been speaking with, there are cartel members who have moved inside and have been cooking and or appropriating meth as well as fentanyl. So it's time to get on board with the tribes themselves and assist on something that needs to be rectified immediately. This is not something that we can wait on. And it's in our rural areas. So if you're in Nye, it's in Amargosa, it's outside there. If you go up, you've got Schurz, you've got Urington, Paiute, you've got a different area where they know they can hide on those lands and they can produce this and continue to bring it, which is why we have such an exponentially high level of it here. So my goal would be to get those agreements with the tribes and to find and mitigate that immediately with law and order. It's not me personally that does it, but I will make sure it's facilitated and handled and executed faithfully.
Yeah, that was a great answer. Yeah, I don't know what we can do. The one thing that I'd like to see is more policing. And with more policing, that's how you can get, even in that rural areas, that's where you can go ahead and track these things down so these things are not being produced. This is a federal thing where it's coming across the border. So are there things that, as a governor, that we can do to tighten those up and negotiate things? Yeah, absolutely. But I don't think that we can get it down to zero. That would be highly impossible. But we can definitely do our best to try to bring those numbers down, right?
I own a building over at 1835 East Charleston Boulevard, and it's in downtown Las Vegas. And in the alley over there, I see drug addicts. I see all kind of homeless, all kind of people. And I talk with them and I resonate with them. My dream is to have wellness centers built for them and infiltrate them back into wellness, where we could go ahead and cure these people, give them an identity, a social security card or a work permit or any sort of right that they have to go back in the workforce, because others don't believe in them, but I believe in them. And I'm going to put them back into work. And that's what I'm going to do as governor. Thank you.
Regarding fentanyl, Cindy, as governor, if I'm governor of Nevada, I would put tremendous pressure on President Donald Trump to put pressure on China. Fentanyl primarily comes from China. I've lived in China for multiple years. I know exactly their mindset and what they're doing here in the United States by flooding us with fentanyl that kills our youth, kills us, kills everybody that takes that. That is poison, and that needs to be eliminated. It is not a stretch. It's not impossible. It absolutely can be done and should be done. And that's what I would do as governor. If I hold that position, I, Donald Jr., would be constantly in touch with the president, Donald Trump, to put pressure on China to eliminate fentanyl that would be coming into our country, primarily up through the border of Mexico. Thank you.
I think it's essential that we have someone who is dealing with this on the local level, and that is what we are doing at Washoe County. Using the opioid settlement money, we have been trying to keep families together. So when families have addiction issues, we have been doing treatment programs where we're keeping families together. We're also doing educational programs with those dollars, as well as on-site Narcan support. All of our policing and our community work is to ensure that if there is overdose happening, we can prevent those deaths. We do not have enough behavioral health treatment in Nevada. It's a crisis. And we have some of the highest suicide rates in the country, not just for adults, but for our youth. And so not only did the Justice Department sue the state of Nevada because we didn't have enough resources for kids, but we are seeing it every day on the ground. And I'm talking to families who are really suffering, having to take family members out of state for help, or they are being hospitalized. What we did in my county is we bought a closed mental health facility. We're rehabbing it. We're going to open it for and it will have 92 beds for youth in our community. And I think that it's a multi-pronged approach, but we really need a governor who cares about keeping our families together and treating people who need the help that they deserve.
Thank you very much, everybody. John Brookhagen, Veterans in Politics. I believe that we are very lucky here in Nevada, given that we have a high percentage of immigrants, illegal aliens, construction, hospitality, and a very partisan government here, that we've stayed out of national headlines regarding the immigration crisis and some of the different paths different political parties want to take with that. So with that said, what are your views on illegal immigration? What are your views on cooperating with federal enforcement, whether it's Customs and Border Patrol or ICE or any other immigration type stuff? Do you believe that the way to keep ICE, say, out of schools would be to let them into the jails? Or exactly how would you address the business side of it as well as the social side of immigration reform or accountability?
Wow, great question, huh? Tough. I'm a firm believer in immigration laws, right? Me being an immigrant in the Latino, right, is dear to my heart. I think diversity should be here. I am here for my Latino community, but I also, want to bring back law and order. You came here illegally, you broke the law, right? And now you want help. I get that. That's tough, right? I'm working with an organization, and we're all working with Susie Lee to try to get that Dignity Act passed. Donald Trump already said that he would sign it if Republicans signed it. The Democrats already signed it. And basically that it means if you were here 2001 and back, you would get a work authorization card. And I'm trying to see if we can amend that, maybe push it a little bit more further, like towards 2015, so that we can get them help. We're a country of immigrants, right? And what's fair and what's not, right? That they're here, they're paying taxes, they're driving illegally. So what can we do to fix that and make that a little bit better? That's something, once again, we're going to have to put our heads together and see what's best for us.
Yes, sir.
First and foremost, thank you for the question. It's a very nice question you have. Basically, we're a nation of immigrants. Therefore, Nevada will be very inviting for migrants to enter into the state. I'm going to give them work permits. We're going to vet them, make sure they're great people, so they could contribute to the workforce in our communities here in Nevada. I'm going to give them work permits and social security cards coming in here, and then they're going to pay an admittance fee to the federal government of $30,000 to $50,000 per person. So therefore, we could go ahead and enhance our borders in our country and make sure everything is closed off in our country. And people want to enter in this country, they're more than welcome to, but there is a process. And we all pay some way in our dues. And this is a blessed country, and we want to give opportunities for people to come into this country, especially into Nevada, since we're going to do so many movements here. Thank you so very much for the question.
My wife is from Bali, Indonesia. And if I went back to Bali today, back to Indonesia, and started working at McDonald's, not only would I be arrested for working without a work permit, I would be looking at 15, 20 years in prison. And the American embassy in Indonesia would tell me, well, you broke the law. This country has laws. Nevada has laws. And as governor, I would enforce our laws. And to everybody who's in this state, who is here illegally, you would not be welcome. I would work hand in hand with ICE, and I would encourage everybody to go to a place in this country that you're welcomed with open arms, which would probably the closest place would be California. Nevada is for people who are American citizens and people who are here legally. If you're legal, then you're legal. If you're not, please leave. That would be the first thing I would have to say to everybody in this state who's here illegally. Thank you for the question.
Nevada is suffering greatly under this administration's requirement that we deport folks who are undocumented. And as Nevada's next governor, I would issue executive orders to ensure that we are not cooperating with ICE. 287. I would repeal the 287G agreements because our local community members are now not reporting crimes for fear of being deported. And there is a real lack of transparency in our jail system of how much this is actually costing Nevadans to support these ICE activities. So I would require more I would ensure better reporting as well on this, and ensure that if community members are videoing ICE activity that is illegal, that they can upload it to the state website and ensure that that is being reported. And I would support our undocumented community members because we are seeing a great unemployment because Nevada relies on migration and Nevada relies on immigrants to be successful in this state. So we need a governor who's going to stand up for our neighbors, and I would do that.
Personally, I'd like to work with the 17 counties to make sure they're not feeling brain drain, which leaves kids leaving the area, which promotes the illegal immigration because you have a lax of generation, nearly 29 years, that are not trade certified. Most of the other countries have their people certified when they come out of high school. They have careers. These are pathways to money. There's nothing wrong with someone that wants to come here in this state if they want to do it the right way. And there's some that have been given a pathway through other people that are in office. Unfortunately, that was someone that we put in office. So I'm honoring that commitment, even though it wasn't my commitment to make. And I'll make sure that the pathways are created correctly without crime. But if you do crime and you've already violated and you're here on a temporary status, you're gone. That was your one chance. You messed up. You're gone. The secondary to that is to make sure that everyone inside these 17 counties is adhering to these laws, these immigration laws, because the gross mismanagement of people being able to utilize HB2 or HB1 or any of these immigrants. Oh my goodness. I could tell you a man, look him up. His name is De La Trinidad, Lionel De La Trinidad. I'm saying it for him because it changed my whole perspective to have a conversation about a man who is an American citizen, who owns a house 5 spots down from the governor's mansion, who is one of the largest contractors and providers of jobs without union, by the way. He covers their taxes. He covers their unemployment. So I'm speaking on that because before I would have been 100% agreement all the time. Every way was negative. Everyone has to go. But here's what it is. I will do every agreement to the Constitution agrees. I will follow the law to the tune constitutionally. I will never violate that, not on behalf of my Nevadans or Americans, but I will make sure that the business owners do not get to violate it either.
Thank you. And just to be clear, Donald, you were a clear yes on cooperating with federal law enforcement. You seem to be a clear no. Can I just have a show of hands if you would participate with the federal government and in enforcing the laws? If you would like to cooperate with federal government, please raise your hand. 100%. Very good. Just so the viewers are clear. Thank you.
I have essentially a 2-part question. The first one, the answer is going to be very quick. You either know the answer or you don't. Feel free to guess if you like. But Nevada's budget is based on a biennial system. So the legislature meets every 2 years. They pass a budget for 2 years. The budget that they most recently passed, which is July of 2026 through 25-27, how much is that biennial budget? And feel free to round to the closest 10 billion. Start with you. Do you know what that biennial budget is? Just yes or no. And if yes, tell me the figure. You either know it or you don't.
It's in the billions for sure.
It is. Do you know, Donald?
I believe so. The last 2-year budget. Pardon me. I believe so. The last 2-year budget was around. It was about 26 billion per year. 2 years, about 52, 54 billion, depending on how it's calculated and actually spent.
Okay, Alexis.
Yes, the biennium budget is 60 million, close to 60 million.
I'm sorry. Say that again.
Or 60 billion, excuse me.
49.2 billion, I believe that's what it was, obligatory on every resident inside the state, $20,000 per year.
Yeah, I was thinking around 50 billion. That was, what I was.
Just so you know, it is give or take 50 billion. There's a little bit of float in there. But this brings me to my next thing. Recently, we've been learning about, it's come to the forefront of the loss of state and federal funds that come in. About 40% of our budget comes from the federal government. The rest we come up with. It's federal money followed by sales tax, followed by gaming tax, are the top three, all the way down to things like cigarette tax. California, for instance, 18 years ago passed what they believed would be $33 billion for high-speed rail between Northern and Southern California. 15 of those $33 billion has been spent. Not a single mile of rail has gone in. Part of that reason is because of all the various regulations. They have to have these studies and these approvals and these looks and these contracts and everything such as that, which is a form of corruption because now they're estimating $126 billion to build something that $15 billion has garnished nothing. In Nevada, when it comes to these sorts of obstacles, when it comes to doing things such as public improvement projects and private businesses that want to come in and they want to build, but it becomes cost preventative because of all of these sorts of regulations, where would you begin looking at the regulatory functions to try to make it easier for private industry to do things, for public infrastructure and public-private partnerships to clear the way and make the dollars more well spent without so much loss? Where would you start?
We're going to let Donald go.
Sorry. I'm sorry. Donald.
Well, thank you, Bill Carnes, for the question. I've spent a tremendous amount of time looking at what's publicly available online about the state budget. Money spent, money owed, and it is abominable. This state is so poorly run, not by just our current governor, but the previous governors going back multiple terms. We have tremendous waste. We have abuse. We have overlap constantly. I'm literally stunned when I look at the money that was already spent and the amount of debt that this state currently owes that nobody mentions or talks about. Currently, this state, the state of Nevada, for a population of about 3.4 million people, has over $50 billion in total state debt and unfunded liabilities. This is unsustainable. It is absurd. Our current governors from the current previously have taken basically the state's credit card and maxed it out as much as possible every single cycle. It's not sustainable. This is reckless behavior, and we need to get our house in order. I would take that and I would go line by line and create an incredibly balanced budget with the new revenue that's coming into the state. And we would do everything in our state's possible power to reduce state debt, to reduce the interest that's already owed on our debt.
As a county commissioner, we've done a lot of this type of work to ensure that we are getting workforce housing online. So incentivizing developers by supporting them with offsetting fees or offsetting permitting processes. This would be something that the governor could look at with the boards and commissions to see how can we streamline Nevada's processes and make sure that we're getting things that we want to get on the ground, such as housing, such as light rail. You're right. What has happened in California is really made people lose faith in their government, which is why we in government need to actually get some things done for people and actually have goals on what we want to accomplish and show the people that we can accomplish them. So that would be a priority for me.
My first calls would be to BLM and to in depth and looking at the environmental protection, because the first things you're going to run into is an environmental issue, or you're going to run into something that's not going to be your land. A great deal of the land that we deal with here in growing and expanding, we only manage 37% in the state. So leave 63% for BLM and or the federal government to mandate. So my first call is usually going to be, where's the land? Where are we building it? Cool. Now let's figure out whether it's feasible. It's going to be finding out whether that can be faithfully executed 100%. So first call, BLM, in depth with the government offices, making sure that we are aligned in that, so we're not wasting money on a hypothetical possibility of doing something, which is a great thing. I like to call it a grift, a government grift, if it's that, because somebody was getting paid and somebody benefited, but it sure as heck was not Californians, and it wouldn't be Nevadans if we were having that same goal. So clarity.
Can I correct something for everybody here? The boondoggle going on in California.
Microphone, please.
Let me finish this, please.
Nobody can hear you.
Okay. I'm going to correct the boondoggle here concerning the misconception of the issues going on with California high-speed rail. Part of it is no eminent domain. You can't just take the land. The land needs to be purchased. This has been in the way of big projects for years. Yes, is there probably some money being wasted? Yes. However, most of the problem is that this land that they need to access is owned by somebody. They don't necessarily have to sell, or they want to sell at an exorbitant price. So keep that in mind. That's all.
Continue. Thank you.
Yes. My campaign is actually looking into the 37th parallel. We're going to be taking a very close eye at that and trying to get our land back. We want to get some unique companies in here, not just the normal, day-to-day big corporation companies that's going to come in and hurt us and monopolize everything. So we're gonna look into very unique infrastructures. Amazon, I was against it at first, and now I love it. They came in, they did something unique, and they hosted a lot of employment for our people, and they're just doing great stuff. So anything like that is what we'd be looking to do.
Always talking to the microphone.
What would you do to help clear the hurdles for private business and also for public projects, public improvement projects, and public-private partnerships to make things more streamlined and less expensive to accomplish in Nevada?
Absolutely. We're going to deregulate a lot of things here in Nevada, whereas it's inviting for builders to come and build here. We're going to go ahead and deregulate permits. We're going to deregulate regulations as needed. Of course, we want to focus on safety and building and what have you. That's a core issue. We have our beautiful inspectors out there that inspect, everything that goes on in our ventures. But deregulate and enhance and bring more prosperity of growth and built here in Nevada. And that's my whole goal here, wholeheartedly. Because I'm a builder, I'm in real estate, I'm an investor, and I'm just a builder all the way around. Want to build.
All right, that concludes the. Did everyone answer the question?
No, I was just giving her a hint.
No. Okay. All right. So that ends our interview portion of today's event. I would like to give each one of you 1 minute for a closing statement, and I will start. Who went last? So we'll start with you, Ms. Hill.
Thank you. I just wanted to say thank you for the opportunity to speak to all of you, and thank you all for your service to our country. I have priorities in my economic plan on how we can better support our veterans and ensure that veterans have preference when it comes to clean energy jobs and finding veterans the housing that they need, that they deserve, cutting the red tape to ensure that veterans who served in transportation or in emergency services or in medical services, that they can come to the state of Nevada and be successful. I hope you'll check me out at Alexis for Nevada and And I appreciate everyone's time on this Saturday.
My name is Matthew Winterhawk. I'm doing this simply to return the power. 17 counties. I want to bring it back to you. I don't want to lead. We don't need a leader. We need someone who faithfully executes the law. I'm here to partner with you, all 17 counties. And I want to make sure that we have an individual approach and that way we can get something moved forward that you want, not that I'm telling you that I can provide for you. It's not a magic wand. A governor can do nothing alone without its people. And I require you to get everything executed that you'd like to have. So I look forward to working with each and every one of you and serving you. Like I said, 17, not just 2 in a sports book. So W for Nevada, as in Winterhawk for Nevada. Thank you.
My name's Jose Zelaya, and our platform is going to lower fuel cost, take out property taxes, and make car registration $40 for the life that you have your vehicle, no matter the value of the vehicle. We want to audit CCSD, Metro, and the healthcare system. We want to build a psychiatric hospital geared towards our veterans and take out all the excuses for the homelessness that they have, that which is going to include the medical, the psychiatric, the physical help, and then a workforce program. So after they get their mental health figured out, we're going to go ahead and put them back out there into society so they don't feel left behind. We're also partnering up with a group in Boca Raton who's going to do a training facility for veterans, only veterans. So Jose Zelaya, please go out there and vote June 9th through June 2nd through June 9th. We need your votes.
My platform is about direct democracy. So I'm going to go ahead and use polls out there and have you decide, we the people, for the people, and with the people. And that's how I'm going to govern this state. So you guys decide what goes on. Get rid of the lobbyists, special interest groups, all of the people that have, room in the cake here. We got to get rid of them. We got to direct and bring it to the people. And that's what I'm here wholeheartedly. So vote Barak Zilberberg if you want to hear your voice. Barak Zilberberg. Thank you so very much.
My father was in the U.S. Coast Guard for 7 years, and I used to work at the NSA division in the Middle East in Bahrain. When Iran shot the first missile towards the GCC states about 5 weeks ago, it was my former military base where I worked at that got hit. I have a tremendous understanding for veterans, and I was in Boulder City during Veterans Day, and I talked to a lot of people, and the number one concern that most people had was they wanted a better economic life, more safety and security in their community. That is what I can provide as governor of Nevada. My website is www.djr26gov.com, and there's a tremendous amount of information there regarding my NGEX plan, the Nevada Global Exchange, which would create tremendous wealth for the state, unlike anything Nevada has ever seen. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you again for coming. This concludes our interview for today. Once again, I'd like to thank our sponsors, Mary Perry, Clark County District Court Family Division, Department P, Christine Brewer, Clark County District Court Judge, Family Division, Department S, Chris Cannon, North Las Vegas Municipal Court, Department 1, Veterans in Politics International, and Nevada Veterans Association, and our additional sponsoring partners for the leadership, support, and dedication to veterans and to the integrity of our non-judicial process. Thanks again.
Join us every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific Time, live stream on Facebook.